This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Oh, sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver Common Sense Show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room, join the conversation. If you want to watch the broadcast, go to Reaver.one, click on the live stream. We now have a way for you to support the show and support SHR Media. Go to Reaver.one, click on the Reaver store, snatch up a t-shirt, coffee mug, or even a Reaver jersey. Hey, we even have SHR Media jerseys and many other items to choose from. So, everybody, I said on Friday I was going to kind of step away for the weekend. Well, I pretty much did for the most part. But I, of course, had to check social medias on a personal level. And I saw some stuff going on. And, yeah. It's what's going on in this primary seems to be getting worse and worse and worse as the days go on. I noticed that first, any and all scandals, any of them, if you want to call them scandals, issues, problems, whatever terminology you want to use, go right ahead. But all of them connect to Cruz. You can be a Cruz supporter and try to deny it all you want, but all these issues go back to Cruz. Second, it made me start wondering if they teach a course at Harvard Law that tells the students how to blame everybody and not take responsibility themselves. And why I ask that is every issue that has come up surrounding Cruz's campaign, all he has done is pointed his fingers at everybody else and mostly at Trump. Well, Obama has done the same thing for the past 7 years. Well, he hasn't blamed Trump, but everything that has come up during the presidency, he has pointed his finger and put the responsibility on somebody else. He has not taken any responsibility for any issues that popped up during his presidency. To me, this is a look into what a Cruz presidency would look like. I mean, even his little jock supporter, Glenn Beck, is doing it. He makes vile comments about Christians. Then has to walk the comment back, but then blames Breitbart for his comments. But we'll talk more on that later. And we also found out what $500,000 pays for. If you remember, Cruz's campaign gave Fioraoni's $500,000. Liz Mayer's anti-Trump super PAC has the same mailing address as Carly Fioroni's campaign. If you don't know who Liz Mayer is the one during the Utah primary was emailing and mailing pictures of Trump's wife and saying, "Do you want this as your next lady? Well, vote Cruz." Yeah, that wasn't a pro-Cruz type of mailing. Nah. I just told you to vote for Cruz. It was an anti-Cruz. And if you can't understand, I'm being sarcastic because it doesn't mean that it's a pro-Cruz PAC just because it's an anti-Trump PAC. Yeah, they're only telling people to vote for Cruz. And those that were paying attention were wondering why $500,000 was transferred from Cruz's campaign to Fioroni's closed campaign. Some thought it was to help pay for her support. But consultants at Liz Mayer's controversial anti-Donald Trump super PAC shares a mailing address. Shares is one way to put it. It's the same P.O. box as Carly Fioroni's presidential campaign, which just relaunched as a nonprofit. Fioroni is a Senator Ted Cruz supporter. Mayer's PAC, Make America Awesome, which is... I'm not even going to touch on the name. That's just too easy. Is under fire after it ran a sexist advertisement in Utah featuring Trump's wife, Melania, a model posing nude. Well, if you want to call that nude, I mean, she didn't have any clothes on, but nothing was showing. I don't know where the issue is that, do you want this as... Nothing was showing. Nothing. The ad encouraged people to vote for Ted Cruz. Again, it wasn't a pro-Ted Cruz group, though. No. It just said to vote for him. Maher is open about the fact that she is helping to boost Cruz, though Cruz has denied involvement with this ad. But how does Make America Awesome make money? According to the PAC's most recent report filed on February 29, 2016, the group listed only 7 donors as having given $200 or more, including consultant Julianne Glover, a former George W. Bush and Bill Kristol employee who now works for Tinode Holdings, an advisory firm linked to Bill Clinton. The PAC takes money in envelopes at a P.O. box in Alexander, Virginia. If you would like to donate by mail and send checks to Make America Awesome, P.O. Box 26141, Alexandria, Virginia. The PAC's website stated. The PAC's Facebook page also lists its address as P.O. Box 26141 in Alexandria, Virginia. That P.O. Box also happens to be the mailing address of Carly for America, which was Fioroni's presidential campaign and just relaunched as a nonprofit organization. Carly for America was still listed at P.O. Box 26141 in Alexandria at the time of its last monthly FEC filing on March 20th, 2016, according to the Federal Election Commission. Carly for America Committee list P.O. Box 26141 in Alexandria on its FEC public disclosure form on February 26, 2015. Fioroni sent out emails on March 23rd announcing that Carly for America is back and will help to elect conservative candidate Fioroni has endorsed Ted Cruz. She said in a relaunch email, first, we will identify principled conservative candidates from outside the political class who aren't afraid of a fight and aren't afraid to shake up the status quo, and we will introduce them to the American people. Second, we will give them the critical boost they need to win by campaigning with them, supporting them, and fundraising with them. Anything we can do to make sure they have all the resources they need to amplify their votes, bypass the media and establishment, and win over voters. Well, geez, kind of funny on that bypass establishment. He's gotten the backing of the establishment. Of course, Mayer did not return requests for comments for this report. Now, over the weekend, a lot of things happened within this, and one of the things is Trump turned around and said, with the wife battle, Cruz started it. He knew about the pictures. All he had to do was one simple thing. One simple thing. All he had to do was stand up on that Tuesday night when they were voting in Utah before everything was done. He had the media to do it. Is say, I have heard that these pictures have been sent out in flyers. They're being emailed. I do not approve them. I do not condone them. I think they're vile. I think they're disgusting. For that, Trump, I apologize that someone did that and used my name in it. This is not what my campaign is about. Guess what? Situation done. Did he do that? No. He waited several days to go by before he came out to condone it after he had already won Utah. No, he shut his mouth and took the ill-gotten gains from that endeavor. It's sick, it's vile, it's disgusting. And he knew about it and he allowed it to happen. I know he doesn't have control over the PACs, but he could have gone out to the public and said, no, we're not dealing with this. That simple. Not even 5 minutes of his time would have went by, and it would actually put him up higher in my book. I would have had respect for him doing it and thought that he had morals. As it shows now, he is just about as low as Obama is. He's shown that he will stoop to no low and has no etiquette for responsibility. He wants to point the finger at everybody else. Has Trump done some stupid things? Yeah. Do I agree with everything Trump does? No. But you attack his wife, he fires back. You attack my wife, yeah, game on. But on Sunday on the ABCs this week, while discussing the current presidential election back and forth about the candidates' wives, Melania Trump and Heidi Cruz, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump said Senator Ted Cruz is the one that started it by being involved in the super PAC that released a picture of Melania. Transcripts are as follows. Carl, do you categorically guarantee that nobody on your campaign, nobody tied to your campaign, has anything to do with the National Enquirer story? Trump, totally. I had nothing to do with it. The campaign had nothing to do with it. He's got a problem with the National Enquirer. I have no control over the National Enquirer. I have no idea about the story. And a little side note on this. I mean, we're going to get into it a little bit more later. There is multiple sources that are coming forward and saying this story was being handed out over a month to 2 months ago by Rubio's campaign. Most of the news, whether it was just a website or a newspaper or whatever, refused to run with the story. This was out there 2 months ago. The only thing Cruz is doing is trying to smear Trump because there was a story run that had a negative impact on Cruz. So he's going to try to turn around for a sympathy vote. There's magazines and news and all that are coming out going, we do not like Trump. We are against Trump. Trump didn't leak the story. Rubio did. So I think Cruz needs to borrow his cojones from Glenn Beck. Come out and apologize like a man. Back to the transcript of he had no idea about the story. He had got it last night, and he had nothing to do whatsoever with the National Enquirer, neither did his campaign. For him to say that he had anything to do with it, try and put the shoe on the other foot is disgraceful. And by the way, he's the one that started it. From what I hear, him and his campaign went out and bought the cover shoot. Molina did a cover shoot for GQ, a very strong modeling picture. No big deal. But it was a cover shoot for GQ, a big magazine. And it was, fine. And from what I hear, he is the one, or his campaign, bought the rights and gave it to the Super PAC. That Super PAC is friendly to Ted Cruz. He started it. I didn't. This rumor mongering, as Carl puts it, should this kind of thing just be off limits? Do you condone this story? Trump says, I don't care. I mean, I really don't care. The National Enquirer did a story. It was their story, not my story. It was about Ted Cruz. I have an idea whether it was right or not. They have a good record of being right. I said, I hope it's not right. And they go back and forth, back and forth. Trump is trying to dump this and go on, but I think it's Karl Rove, I'm not quite sure, but he keeps wanting to go back to it. He keeps wanting to start issues. He wants Trump to say something so that they could run with a negative. Trump just responds back, he's very close. Ted Cruz is very close to the Super PAC. I call him Lying Ted. I call him that because nobody that I've known a lot tougher people over the years in business. I have never known anybody that lied like Ted Cruz. This man he's a trained liar, and that's what he does. He goes back and forth. And it's... Listen, those two were getting along at the beginning of the primary, and his points weren't doing good. So he thought it would be good to attack Trump to boost himself up. And this Mr. Innocent, I didn't do anything, is really starting to piss off a lot of people and push a lot of support off. A lot of people are seeing that issue upon issue is stacking up against Cruz, and he keeps just pointing the finger. One issue, okay, maybe not him, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they start piling up. That's when people start going, I keep hearing that the Trump supporters are blind and just like Obama supporters. I got a question. How many issues have to pop up before you wake up that your candidate is surrounded by scandal and he's not even the president yet? How many times does that have to pop up? Yes, Trump has said some things that might hurt some people's feelings. Big whoop. I don't care. You get your feelings hurt, toughen up. That's part of the thing that we like about him. He's not afraid to say what he thinks. We don't have a politician like Ted Cruz running around being politically correct, apologizing for his comments, walking back his comments. And don't tell me he doesn't, because he just did it recently. He made comments about the attacks in Belgium and what we have to do, and then walked the comment back. This has been going on for a while. The man is a trained liar. He's a lawyer. And I'm not trying to be negative towards lawyers. Well, yeah, I am, but that's what they're trained to do. To lie. Twist the truth. They understand the idea. Even if their story is ripped apart, it still leaves doubt in people's mind. Why would Trump put out a story and push a story that involves his spokeswoman that would pull his campaign into the turmoil? Nobody's thinking of that. Why would you throw out a rumor that would bring your campaign into the issue? Let's see. When they made an issue of this, you just gave the Democrats a shitload of ammunition. And on a side note, before we go to break, the show before mine, I was listening to it, and they had a guest, and one of his comments was, he's a Cruz supporter, the guy was. But he said he does believe that Trump and Cruz could and will clean the clock of Hillary Clinton. And I got to agree with him. I'm a little leery on Cruz because as soon as he goes to attack Hillary and she fires back that you offended me, he's going to apologize. But he admitted that she's not that strong of a candidate everybody thinks. She is not the definite winner. The poll numbers are not too good for her. And all it takes is a couple more wins by Bernie Sanders, and those super delegates leave her and go to Bernie Sanders. She is not the clear winner. And if those super delegates shift, right now, if they were to shift, he would take the lead. She's not impossible to beat in the general. And everybody complains about these comments that Trump will make. How dare he? But in the general election going up against Hillary Clinton, we're going to need someone like Trump to go after Hillary, to take those low blows against Hillary, to be able to attack Hillary without apologizing when she comes at him going, well, I'm a female. So, and those that keep saying, well, I will not vote, I'd rather see Hillary win, I'm going to tell you right now, you're a piece of garbage. You have the right to vote that way or not vote that way, but by doing it, you are helping Hillary Clinton. You are helping the butcher of Benghazi. You are walking on the graves of 4 Americans by saying that. And that is my opinion. When I hear people do it, it makes me sick. You are walking on the grave of 4 Americans. Pissing me off. You have the right to do it, but this one, I don't know. This one is about I don't think it's about keeping Trump from nomination. We need to keep Hillary. And our establishment has said time and time again, and our politicians have even come out and said, and if you haven't heard it, you need to start Googling it. We've had Republicans come out and say they have no problem with Hillary Clinton presidency. They have no problem with Hillary Clinton, who killed 4 Americans. That's not conservative to me. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on High Plains Pundit and SHRmedia.com. We'll be right back after these messages.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
To Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying half of the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the ReaverCommonSense.com. While you're there on Reaver Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at something. All right, let's get back to this. Cruz campaign prepared for the sex scandals weeks in advance. They knew this thing was coming. They knew how to attack it. It is the story some are now calling Everything or Nothing, a political hot mess whispered for weeks, and just yesterday, the other day pushed into somewhat mainstream via the tawdry National Enquirer, exposed by the same award-winning journalists who broke similar revelations like the John Edwards scandal that effectively ended Mr. Edwards' political career in 2008. Sorry, just an idea popped in my head. And if I don't do it now, I will totally forget it because I am a blonde. I got to think of that a little bit more. Better way to put it. So now the social media is now on the act with the hashtag Cruz sex scandal, the number one trending topic in the Twitterverse over the weekend, which of course means the memes are being made up double time at this point. Oh, are they? You have a picture of Bill Clinton, and it says, "I did not have sexual relationship with that woman." Ted Cruz did. There's another one I saw that has, it's, I don't know if anybody remembers Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the movie. Well, they're cropped out the faces. Put Bill Clinton and Ted Cruz's face in there. It says, Bill and Ted's Sexcellent Adventure. Yeah, people are having fun with the memes already, and they're getting very creative. Unfortunately for Mr. Cruz, speculation does appear to be forming into something beyond mere rumor now that some mainstream reporters are indicated factual support of at least some of what was detailed in the National Enquirer exposure. Washington Times' Drew Johnson indicated at least 2 women involved in that report were accurate and headlined that information with the tagline, "Coming Clean." After a flurry of activities and trying to determine the validity of the National Enquirer story, DC Whispers has received information that suggests an effort by the Cruz campaign to prepare for the now scandal has been in the works for several weeks and includes, but is not limited to, the most recent back-and-forth social media spat between Ted Cruz and Donald Trump that was initiated by a Cruz super PAC using a 16-year-old modeling photo of Mr. Trump's wife, which was then distributed to Mormon-dominated voters in Utah just prior to that state's caucus election. The ad, predictable, created anger from Donald Trump, which then quickly escalated into remarks by Ted Cruz and his own wife, Heidi Cruz. The ongoing back-and-forth snipping is said to have been a planned event by the Cruz campaign to try and intermingle the Trump dispute with the pending National Enquirer story in an effort to confuse voters as to what was really going on. And this goes to what I was saying. It's... I don't know. I'm getting tired of this, and Ted Cruz is turning into Obama. And he really is. He says he's an anti-politician, he's the anti-establishment. But he's using all of Obama tactics, he's using political tactics. He is a politician within the establishment. Just because someone says it, and I'm sorry, he has, from what I've seen, I believe that he was anti-establishment. And it's getting a little nuts because just because someone does a dog and pony show, and that's what, if you look at everything, if you look objectively, take a step back and look at Ted Cruz. And look at what he's done in the Senate. Yes, I know he's done arguments in front of the Supreme Court. Great. There's hundreds of other lawyers that do that also. And I will say, my main problem right now is I'm tired of lawyers as politicians. They have screwed this country up long enough. I'm tired of it. I don't hate, the lawyers have their place. Yes, they do. But I'm tired of them running for political office. And then they're not doing the job that they were sent to do. I'm tired of it. And it's politicians in general, but the ones that have a law degree, it's getting tiresome with them. because you wind up with what I see from Cruz. But take a step back and take a look at what Cruz has done in the Senate. He's done nothing, really. He really hasn't. All this has been an escalating plan for a run from the beginning. He has choreographed everything he's done in the Senate to make him look anti-establishment. He knew this piece was coming out. Everybody did. I didn't know exactly what it is, but I remember reading 2 months ago, and since then, about these little scandals that were going to pop up. It was going to be a sex scandal. It's been going on for months now. So what do? They start an issue, and I didn't even think of that. They start an issue with Trump. So now that he's intermingled in it, just because they have a little thing going back and forth, and people are blind enough, they jump on it. Do I think Ted Cruz personally okayed for Make America Awesome to send out those photos? No, I do not. Could he have been a bigger hero, even if he had it set up for them to go out, for him to stand up that night and say, hey, I don't approve? That would have made him look even better. No, he remained quiet, and that's where I have the issue. I don't think he had personal hand in it. Do I think he knew about it? Yes. You don't have a campaign of that magnitude and not know what's going on. That is the idiotic answer that I've heard in a long time. They know what's going on. They know when this stuff is going on. They know it's not right. It's... I'm sick of it. It's getting tiresome. And what I'm seeing out of Cruz is exactly what we've seen from politicians time and time again. And I've seen the same actions from Obama. I've seen the same actions from Obama supporters. No, I do not think you're liberals. I think you're conservatives, but you're so far to one side, it's not going to be good. And no, I don't believe in that strict of conservatism. Just as much as I don't believe in that much of a liberalism. This country is not made up to be one side or the other. It's meant to be a compromise. And if you can't understand it, I'm sorry. This has been long before Trump got involved in this. Our country is made up of checks and balances, which also means that it's meant for not liberalism, not conservatism. It's meant to be both. Just with anything in life, anything, too much is bad. You have too much liberalism, it's bad. Too much conservatism, it's bad. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not a conservative just because I think this. So you take those little thoughts, because I get the attacks of that just because I don't fall in line. I have my own way of thinking. I have my own way of doing things, and I always have and always will. You have the right to have your feelings and your opinions on the way things should be, and that's fine. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue with the people that are backing Cruz. But that doesn't mean you're right. That doesn't mean how the whole country should act. Because you claim that you don't want your constitutional rights trampled on. Well, when your constitutional rights trample on my constitutional rights, there's an issue. There is a happy medium between. It's called compromising. And that's what this country has forgot. Everybody seems to be wanting it their way and their way only. That's not the way it is. We need to do compromise. And that's the way this country was set up. Checks and balances. And if I really have to, balances is the key word there. We need a balance of everything. And what's going on is it's all smokescreen to confuse people into voting. And what's funny is the RNC, Cruz said this is what they were going to do, and people actually buy into all this stuff. And another layer of intrigue to the Inquirer edition, and seemingly very much linked to the Melania Trump ad, is the involvement of Carly Fioroni's campaign staffer, Liz Marr. Just prior to Marr's newly formed Make America Awesome anti-Trump PAC initiated the now famous Melania Trump modeling pick political ad, came the endorsement of Ted Cruz by Liz Marr's former boss, Carly Fioroni. This in turn reminded some in the media to recall a very odd $500,000 transaction that took place between Ted Cruz's super PAC and Carla Fioroni's super PAC back in July, when both were still apparently competing against one another for the GOP nomination. And there was a Washington Post headline of, "Why did Ted Cruz super PAC give $500,000 to Carly Fioroni?" Now it's starting to make sense of why that money was sent to her. They knew they were going to need somebody to do some underhanded stuff, and they figured they could probably squeak by without anybody seeing it. Well, it didn't squeak by, and things are not looking kosher to me. But what is kosher is...
Damn! What the fuck?
Oh, sorry about that. That was the wrong one. There we go. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on High Plains Pundit and SHRmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka's stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverbcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reverb Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reverb of Common Sense.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. The Jersey Takeovers here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast, go to Reaver.1. Click on the live stream button. Or is it live show? Either way, I'm sure everybody's smart enough. Even a liberal can do it. Now remember, I am just trying to make sense out of the senseless, and it is a hard task. And if you want to support the show and continue the making of sense out of the senseless, or if you want to even support SHR Media, go to Reaver.1, click on the Reaver store, snatch up a t-shirt, a jersey. You can get a Reaver jersey or an SHR Media jersey, a coffee mug. Many items to choose from. Get them while they're still there. It's... And on that last article, there was an update at the bottom. Trump campaign spokesman Katrina Pearson, who some claimed was among the women involved in the sex scandal allegation, because she formerly worked for Ted Cruz years ago, has come out publicly to deny she was involved in the claims and that the story is false as it relates to herself. Now, I'm going to say, to my knowledge, none of the women have come forward yet to substantiate the National Enquirer report. And I do not hold a lot of truth to this scandal. I don't hold a lot of truth. Now, someone made the comment to me, well, who would sleep with that? No one's going to. Yeah, that I'm going to stop right there, because women... And I'm not going to try to explain why. I don't think it's a negative. I don't think it's a positive. For whatever reason, are attracted, not all women, but there's women that are attracted to men in power. And doesn't matter what the man looks like. Women will be attracted to that type of person. Some women will. So I can't say that these accusations are outright false. But I'm not sure. I don't think they're true. But then there's also that little doubt, which Ted Cruz loves to put in people's mind. But there is doubt, because it would not be the first time that the National Enquirer has broken a sex scandal open. Remember John Edwards in 2008? It was the National Enquirer that did that. Now I'm going to try to stay neutral in it till either proof comes forward in one way or the other. But I will say that the blaming of Trump is getting old. It is old, people. As I said, why would he push that story when it has one of his personnel in it, and it can make his campaign look bad too? Several people have come forward and said they've known about the story for over a month or two. That the Rubio campaign, when he was still in the campaign, he was pushing for this story to try to make up some ground. And a lot of papers did not want to run it. Breitbart, Washington, it's not Washington Post, it's another one I can't think of top of my head. There's been several of them that have come forward that said it. There was a woman that was on Fox this past week, and I was flipping through, hit it, and let me see what this one has to say. And the woman then came out and said, I am not a Trump supporter. I do not like the guy. I don't want to see him win. But it was Rubio's campaign that was pushing this, not Trump's. And that's bad when you have one of your enemies protecting you. But at least I give the woman credit. She is coming out and saying, no, the truth is the truth. Because she could have sat back and sat there and laughed and go, look at that. Trump's going to get hammered over this. He's going to lose. Yes, great. No, she came out and said, no, it wasn't him. It was Rubio. That's the truth. And she wants to see Trump lose. That is somebody with still some moral and ethics, that they're willing to step forward for what is right, whether they like the person or not. And you can do that. Whether you like a person or not, you can say what's right and what's wrong instead of following the pastime of agreeing just to agree. Now, I'm pretty sure, and hopefully people have heard about what Glenn Beck has been doing lately. I find it disgusting. The derogatory comments coming out of this man's mouth. And I'm going to give, the story is the back story, so everybody understands. If you don't know what's going on, I want everybody to understand before I go into the next bit. And it's sometime around the beginning of the primary season, the Lord apparently spoke his will to Glenn Beck. Did he call for a revival of his word, repentance among sinners, or call for Americans to become closer to our families and to him? No, not exactly. According to Glenn Beck, item number 1 on the agenda of God's planner was keeping Donald J. Trump from becoming president. Furthermore, the main avenue to do this was to elect Senator Ted Cruz president. Toward that goal, the founder of The Blaze has taken on a persona as a sort of end-of-time preacher. Oh, do I agree with that? He's like that idiot that... I don't want to say idiot. That's bad. I'm sorry. But he's like that person that you see in all the movies. The bum that's on the corner holding up the sign. It's end of times. And that's Glenn Beck. I mean, he's crying the end of times all the time. And that it's God's will. God wants it. All right. And he's that end-of-time preacher, seeing the work of the deity and everything that does. This man thinks that, and maybe God's speaking to him, I don't know. But I doubt God's speaking to him about who to elect. He has bigger issues to worry about than that. Oh. And it's I don't know. The guy gets under my skin big time. And I'm not huge when it comes to Glenn Beck. I think he's a joke. I think he is riding on the coattails of Ted Cruz. He lost his job years ago at Fox, and he's trying to make this paper and news and TV thing that he's doing. So he's riding the coattail of Cruz to try to get his fame back. And first came his claim that God had killed Justice Anthony Scalise so that Cruz could get elected. Then he called for people to fast so that God's favor would fall upon Cruz in the Nevada caucus. And apparently, y'all didn't starve yourself hard enough. Cruz finished a disappointing third. And now he's out there saying that no real Christians can vote for Trump. No Christians, no real Christians. I don't mean a judgmental Christian. I mean somebody who is living their faith. No real Christian says, I want that guy. That guy is for me, is what Beck said on his show. I think it was last Thursday. And he says, I honestly don't know what else to do. We have got to be a people of principle. We are a Christian nation. Are we really? Then why are we in so much trouble? Why do we have the same kind of problems that non-Christian nations do with pornography, drugs, and everything else? So there you have it. Real Christians don't like Trump. And there seems to be a lot more that are actually voting for Trump. And he's made other derogatory comments towards Christians and evangelists. He's just attacking anybody that opposes his view. And he talks about brown shirts. If you want to support Cruz, go right ahead. The only one I'll have an issue with is Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, the butcher of Benghazi, I don't see how anybody could back her. I cannot see it. I may not agree with the Bernie Sanders, and I think they're out for the destruction of the United States, but they have the right to support who they want. It annoys the piss out of me, but I'm not going to bash people and start attacking their religious beliefs. No. And that's what Glenn's shenanigans aren't going to convince Christians to abandon Donald Trump. What it is doing is pushing more people towards Donald Trump. And casting aspersions on the faith of Christians who are voting for Donald Trump won't fix the mess Obama has gotten us into. It will just further divide us. So, instead of Beck coming out and just apologizing, no, he has to dig deeper. And yes, I hold Cruz also to these statements. Again, everybody jumped on Trump when some man came out and said KKK should vote for this man. He had no control over who says what. He had no control over who endorses. But he came out within 2 hours. Within 2 hours he came out and denounced and disavowed those endorsements. And Cruz could go out there and say, Beck, nope, I do not agree with what he's saying. He's going too far. He is not part of my campaign. I disavow him, whatever. But he could do that. Nope. You know, just as in Utah, as we talked about during the primary, he kept silent about that mailer that with Melania Trump. He knew it was out there. He could have gone out there and disavowed it. Nope. But remember, the way they treat us, everyday people, silence is approval. If he goes out there and says it, he disavows, it means a lot. But Beck has announced that he's the anointed one. He is the priesthood. He is this. Come on up, Cruz. And Cruz goes up there, thank you, and goes on to a speech. Any Christian that I know that was real strong within his religion is told that he's an anointed one, he's the priesthood, he's this or that, would come out and say, no, I'm just a humble servant of God. Sorry, but thank you for the compliment, but that is not me. I am just a simple servant. No, and I think Cruz is starting to believe this bull crap about him. Any Christian, with that being said, would not stand for it. And it's getting a little sickening with it. It really is. On the other side of the break, we're going to continue with Beck's supposed apology to Christians, but then he even delves deeper into his comments and how, surprise, surprise, he blames everybody else for his comments. You're listening to The Reaver of Common Sense right here on shrmedia.com and High Plains Pundit. Be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying half the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the ReaverCommonSense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. I am trying to make sense out of the senseless, and it seems a harder task as the days go by. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com, click on the chat room button, join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast, go to Reaver.one, click on the live show button. If you want to support the show and SHR Media, go to Reaver.one, click on the Reaver store, snatch up a t-shirt, a coffee mug. We even have Reaver and SHR Media jerseys. And many other items to choose from. So we're talking about Glenn Beck and his stupidity in his mouth. Glenn Beck is now doubling down and saying that Ted Cruz is the anointed for this time. Walks back blast of Christians supporting Trump. Well, not exactly. Chastised by negative public reaction to his recent comments that real Christians do not support Donald Trump, and all throughout the South, the evangelists are not listening to their God. That was the other comment that pissed me off. Just because these people are not agreeing with Beck. And as I was trying to make earlier, and I think I went off course on it, Beck is the one that screamed about Trump having the brown shirts, which he's referencing to the early Nazi group. Well, it seems that you don't like it, Glenn Beck, when people speak out of turn. When people speak against your candidate and don't fall in line for what you want, you immediately attack them for not believing what you believe. You immediately attack them because they are not following you. So if anyone is brown shirt, if anyone is closer to the Nazi group, well, I still don't think you're a Nazi. I don't think your people are brown shirts. But I think that you have a problem when people do not listen to you. You throw a hissy fit like some spoiled little brat. But as I said, that he's gone on that the evangelists are not listening to their God. Radio talk show host Glenn Beck is walking back his criticisms of Christians who support the New York City billionaire and GOP frontrunner. But now he's claiming that Senator Ted Cruz, whom he has endorsed for president, was anointed for this time. On Friday, less than 24 hours after he proclaimed on his television program that no real Christians say, "I want that guy," Donald Trump, Beck issued an apology in an article posted on his website. I'd like to apologize for any of the comments that I've made that offended anyone's religious sensibility or implied that I thought you weren't good Christians. Beck wrote in an article that appears to be an edited version from the transcript of his lengthy monologue on his radio program Friday. If that's what I said, but that's not what I said. And right here is where he adds the qualifier to his apology and tries to spin it. If that's what I had said, but that's not what I said. See, he just totally reversed on what he said. He said, oh my God. I even jumped in on that. He said. If that's what I had said. Well, he knows what he said. But now he's trying to tell everybody that's not what I said. So he's not even apologizing at this point. That's what Breitbart and Drudge and the paid for Donald Trump media want you to believe I said. Right there. He's pointing the finger and blaming everybody else and now trying to deny that he even made these comments. I'm getting sick of this from people. It's on tape. Well, quote-unquote tape. It's an expression from the 80s and the 90s, back when we had cassette tapes. We could play back your comments. We've seen your website. We've seen the writings that you've done. It is what you said. It's not a misinterpretation. It is what you said, Glenn. It's not what Breitbart and Drudge or any of the quote-unquote paid for Donald Trump media. I love how he goes after the media, and they're all paid for by Donald Trump. Yeah, they're attacking him. Yeah, that's great support. But Donald knows how to use the media, and I will give him credit. Whether it's negative or positive, he knows how to get the media around him. Just because your candidate is not able to do it, he's throwing a hissy fit and throwing fingers around, and that's what I'm getting really sick of, the finger pointing. Everybody else. He goes and attacks Christians, and he points the finger at everybody else. He did not deny the accuracy of the quote about real Christians and Donald Trump attributed to him by numerous media outlets, including The Blaze, which is his paper or his media company. You're damn right. Beck slams religious Trump backers, says no real Christian would vote for the New York mogul. His own paper, The Hill. Glenn Beck, no real Christians should support Trump. The Christian Post, Glenn Beck accuses evangelist Christians supporting Trump of not listening to their gods. Breitbart News, Robert Jeffries rebukes Glenn Beck for criticism of Southern evangelists. International Business Times, Glenn Beck says no real Christian should support Donald Trump. Washington Times, Glenn Beck, no real Christians support Donald Trump. Daily Caller, Beck, no real Christians should vote for Donald Trump. Newsmax Media, Glenn Beck, no real Christian would vote for Donald Trump. And Breitbart News, Glenn Beck triples down, no real Christian says, I want that guy Donald Trump. But no, it's only a select few, and they misinterpreted what he says. Instead of disputing the quote attributed to him by these many, many media outlets, Beck offered this trust me defense, which specifically referenced the Breitbart article about his criticism of Southern evangelists. Here's what concerns the writer. What concerns him was the way this article attempted to characterize what I said and I believe. That I had to step back and rewatch the videos and listen to my comment that I made at a campaign rally over the weekend and make sure that I hadn't said what the article in the comments within the article implied. Beck went on to explain his view of the specific mechanisms of all Christians, including those who support Trump, should follow before deciding the candidate for whom they will vote in the 2016 GOP presidential contest. And he goes on, I believe evangelists, Christians, Jews, and Muslims are in this together, that we all have access to God's inspiration. That's all I'm asking for on this Easter weekend, that you would take the time and ask for God's inspiration. And I've seen many, many, many Christians that say they believe that they are doing what they believe as the right thing to do by voting Trump. Do I believe God and all of his issues has time to worry about who's going to be elected president? No, I don't. That's my opinion. Take the time to examine the principles and put them up to your Christian values and principle. Just side by side, the principles, God's principle and the candidate's principles, without excuse. Question with boldness. Realize where our country is. Realize what is at risk in this election if we choose a candidate whose position seems to be based on anger and hatred and greed. You know, when the anger of the voter works for him, Ted Cruz constantly talks about it. But when it's working against him, they bash us for being pissed at the Republican Party for screwing us over time and time again. And I ask anybody, the hatred. I'm tired of this. The ones that are bringing the issues are these so-called quote-unquote protesters that are paid $3,500 to go to these protests and start trouble. There is time and time again of testimony from people saying they felt safe around the Trump rallies. Where they didn't feel safe is when these protesters step in and started with their hate. I'm tired of this accusation that he's racist. What has he said that is racist? Oh, because the illegal immigrants that are coming into this country are rapists, murderers? Yes, there is a decent amount that are. Because if you are law-abiding, you're not coming in illegally. That does not mean they are all racists they're all murderers, they're all rapists. But the best of the best is not coming in that way. The best of the best come in legally. So he was speaking the truth. I have not heard one racist thing that Trump has said. They keep saying he says racist things, and that's what, when I was a little bit quiet and I said that I was responding to a friend of mine. And that's what I was asking him. What racist thing has he said? Nobody can come up with it. Why? Because he hasn't said anything racist. It is the work of the left to automatically pin any strong candidate as a racist. And they love playing the game of pin the racist on the Republican. And Cruz, like an idiot, is jumping in on that game. Fine, you win the election. Guess what? The Democrats are going to play the same game with you. And you're not going to think it's so funny. And Beck pushing this. He's going to have a coronary if his friend gets the nomination. And they attack him. If they think what's going on now is evil and bad, wait till the Democrats get a hold of Ted Cruz. They already do not like the man. They are going to lambaste him, and I don't think he has the fortitude to be able to stand up, take it, and return fire. Glenn Beck, as I said, will be having an aneurysm, flipping out. And you're not going to be able to attack him like you attacked Trump. And Glenn Beck goes on, I happen to believe that Ted Cruz actually was anointed for this time. When anybody is supposed to be one of those religious greats, they don't need someone pointing it out. It comes years and decades later is when the religious scholars find the ones that were anointed for that time. I think Glenn Beck is propping Ted Cruz up as a false idol. And Ted Cruz does not deny that symbolism. And that is what worries me. That statement was made as he disputed a comment made by Breitbart News by Dr. Thomas Kidd, a leading academic expert on religion in America and associate director of the Institute of Studies of Religious at Baylor University. But then he, Dr. Kidd, says, but God has not revealed Ted Cruz as the divinely anointed alternative either. To you, Dr. Kidd, to you. To you, God hasn't revealed Cruz as divinely anointed. I understand that, and I respect your opinion, Beck goes on. But here's mine. I have seen this man's life. I have watched this man. That's a little creepy. I have prayed about this man. I have prayed about it by myself out loud in quiet with my family, with my staff, and I happen to believe that Ted Cruz actually was anointed for this time. Would there not be someone that was in the pool that might have the right qualifications for God? I really think, not because of his religious, just the way he's going on, I wonder if this man has not lost his mind. And like I said, he can have whatever religion. All right, it's at least one radio talk show host is publicly asking if Beck's outspoken support for Senator Cruz has become a liability for the presidential campaign of the junior senator from Texas. Damn, I've been saying that for a while now. I know they're not talking about me, but I have said that for a while. During an interview on Friday, Tulsa, Oklahoma radio talk show host Pat Campbell, talking with Dr. Everett Piper, president of the Oklahoma Wesleyan University, on his program heard every Wednesday, told his guest, I am of the belief, and I want to see if you're in agreement with me on this, that Beck endorsing Cruz, I think, actually is a negative. And he adds, I think Beck is just, I don't know what it is. He is too obsessed with Donald Trump. Jeez, I've been saying that for a while. Damn. My lines are getting stolen. And I'm being sarcastic about it. And he's almost blind by that obsession. I think that having him go out in place like Utah and talking about, how the white horse prophecy and all of these other things out there, presenting Ted Cruz as some sort of savior. I'm not looking for a savior. I've already got a savior. Thank you very much. I am looking for somebody to clean up this mess here, and I do believe that Ted Cruz is the best choice out there. And I have since he announced he was going to run over a year ago, but the Beck thing, I think it's actually more of a negative than a positive. And I agree everything except I don't think Ted Cruz is the best choice, but he has a right. I never knock anybody for supporting who they want to support. I don't. You support who you want. But he's making good points here. I already have a savior. Ted Cruz is not that. I believe he is being put up on a pedestal. And yes, Beck is obsessed. He is obsessed. That's all he talks about is Donald Trump. That's all I hear him doing. Attacking Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. This man is... And it hurts Cruz's campaign. But you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on High Plains Radio and SHR Media. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
To Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverbcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded it 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to be part of the conversation, just go to shrmedia.com, click on the chat room button, join the conversation. Trying to do several things in my head at the same time, and today I'm having an issue with it. If you want to watch a live stream, go to Reaver.one, click on the live stream, and there you go. You can watch me live. If you want to support the show, or if you want to support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one, click on the Reaver store, snatch up the t-shirts, the coffee mugs. We even have Reaver jerseys and SHR Media jerseys, and many, many other items to choose from. So, and by the way, what's up, Dave? I was away during the break, so I didn't have a chance to say hey. Yeah, I saw that story, and I can't remember if I had that in today's show. Let me take a quick. Actually, and I'm going to go on to something else that I had set up for today. But yeah, the San Francisco mayor is saying that any San Francisco employee cannot travel to North Carolina because they disagree with a law that might be implemented in South or North Carolina. So anybody that travels there will be fired. This is getting a little ridiculous and a little scary because now our employers, whether you work for the government or a private employer, they could tell you where you can go, where you can't go now when you're on your off time. That is not their place to do it. If they disagree, that's one thing. Their employees have the right to agree or disagree. They don't have a right to tell people where to go. And back to, I want to finish up with that Glenn Beck issue. Either the man is hitting the booze too hard, and one of the things is he's believing his bullshit. Or as I've heard several Cruz supporters say, and ex-fans of Beck, that he is just batshit crazy that he's gone over the line. And I have heard where Cruz supporters can see where this is hurting Cruz's campaign with Glenn Beck in his mouth. And Cruz needs to address this publicly and quick, because Beck is hurting him. It may be a small amount, but that small amount is enough that can change an election. And I don't know, Dave, I disagree. Private or government job, it doesn't matter. Job's a job. They do not have a right to tell you where you can go on your public day. A private employer has no control either. I'm sorry, I disagree on that one. Both of them have no right to tell you where you can go and where you can't go. So, the main part I want you to hear in this next little bit. Actually, let me play the bit, and then we'll come back and discuss. This is Judge Jenny Pirro. She's on Fox very often.
So, you don't like Donald Trump. You're going to create a unity ticket of other candidates to make sure that he doesn't win. Say again? You want to stop one of the biggest vote getters in your own party's Republican primary history? Yet Donald Trump must be stopped is the Republican Party's mantra. Hey, I didn't always like my party's choice for president, but I generally supported him. Good that Trump is a white male, otherwise they'd be accused of being racist, and lucky Trump's not gay, otherwise the Republican Party would be accused of being homophobic. So let me see if I understand this. The guy who keeps winning, despite his being called a misogynist, a racist, a xenophobe, who has more than 50% of the delegates, with even as many as 17 other Republicans in those primaries, and the Republican Party's mission is to block Trump's nomination? What are you guys smoking? Okay, you like Ted Cruz. Good for you. But he needs to win 80% of the remaining Republican delegates. Keep dreaming, guys. It ain't gonna happen. And John Kasich, he's a nice guy, but absolutely no path to the nomination. So I say to myself, why would Republicans try to sabotage their own frontrunner and risk a Democrat winning the White House? And I keep coming up with the same answer. The Republican establishment, elected officials, and party leaders are in bed with the Democrats. So if Hillary wins, nothing's lost for them. It's business as usual. The lobbyists keep their offices on K Street. The pharmaceutical companies keep paying them. The unions keep adding to their pensions. And the lawmakers get their re-election bribes. Contributions. While we, the underclass, have to work 2 and 3 jobs, rack up a debt our children and grandchildren are going to have to pay for generations. And to scare you into submission, they predict Trump cannot win the general election. If not, pray tell, why does he keep winning the primaries and drawing crowds like we've never seen in American primary history? An election note primer. Trump already has 678 delegates. He needs 12.
Now, real quick. Hey, Kel. Nice to have you there. It's that part. And they say he can't win. This is also the same people that said that he would be out of the running a long time ago. This is the same people that said he cannot win any of the primaries. This is the same person that said that he has reached his ceiling. It's the same people that said that he can't go no higher. He's not going to go no further. They keep saying what he can't do, and he keeps beating them at their game. This is not for people who don't support Trump to support Trump. This is just, I'm tired of some of the BS that I hear in the background, and I agree with what she has to say. And she's spot on that the establishment is willing to sell the people just so they don't lose their backdoor money. And for those who think, because I've seen, oh, that's conspiracy theories, that's almost as bad as the New World Order ones. You guys are a bunch of nut jobs. And I hear a lot of people in the Republican Party, and I've heard it a lot lately from Cruz supporters, because that's the ones I'm seeing. And it's not, I know Trump supporters do the same thing Cruz supporters do. And I've said that before, and I'll keep saying that. I understand it, and I do not condone the Trump supporters doing that. But it was I was on social media very little this weekend. And what little it was on, I got threatened again. Because some guy wanted to post these really nasty photos, and he said that this is plastered all over the gay and lesbian porn sites. This is Melania Trump. She is a slut, whore, lesbian porn star. And I just sat there like, really? You just gave so much ammunition to the Democrats of Republicans hate women by that statement. Well, he didn't like it when I turned around and asked him, well, how often do you go to these gay and lesbian porn sites? Oh, that made him flip a lid. But these photos, if you look at them, are from like 1970s. Well, Melania was born in 1970. It's not her. I knew it wasn't her from the begin with. The guy was just out to, throw mud. But then it's, I'll bet you $10,000, and if you don't pay it up, I'm coming to your house and taking it from you. Woo! Someone went off their happy pills. But for some reason, this election, it has gotten that, people have gotten that divisive. I think part of it's not just that we're the problems in the country. It's people think on social media anymore they can say whatever they want with no repercussions. They're hiding behind a screen, so they think they could say whatever they want. Well, he said that these photos that were sent to him are proof, and they don't even look like her. I'm serious, and you know what I mean when I mean the 1970 photos. They just have that that color. There's just a certain look to them, and it was just like it's blatantly obvious that they're fake. And a guy flipped the lid. I'm just like, holy shit! I've only been on social media like 5-10 minutes, and here I am getting attacked again. Whether you're a Ted Cruz supporter or Ted Cruz or Trump or whatever, that should not be a part of it. But everybody is just within social media. They have this computer screen in front of them, and it protects them. They think it does. So they can say whatever they want. Which, no, that is not the case. Somebody just got arrested. Yeah, exactly. Net etiquette. Don't say stuff online you wouldn't say to folks' faces. Exactly. I know most people wouldn't say that to my face. I know that. But it's getting tiresome with what's being said. And they got to watch what they say when it comes to Trump. They're attacking Trump. Well, I said it before. This is the same thing that Democrats say about all Republican candidates. And the Republicans are now attacking itself with the arguments from Democrats, and the Democrats are going to expand on it when we get to the general election, no matter who the nominee is. All right, let's get back to Judge Jenny.
137 to win. Now, he's won 6 closed and 13 open primaries and caucuses. One where independents and Democrats, or just independents, vote. So why is this important? It tells you that Trump, besides winning the base, is appealing to independents and Democrats as well. Does that not bode well for the general election? Especially against an establishment politician most people consider untrustworthy and dishonest? So now they say he's divisive. Yet, think about this. The looting and the burning and the riots in Ferguson happened long before Trump.
I'm going to stop it again right there. The rioting and the looting and all the issues, the Black Lives Matter, the MoveOn.org were all before Trump. But now they're blaming all these issues on Trump. These issues were around way before. They're just finding it as an easy out to blame one person and try to bring him down.
Black Lives Matter, Occupy Wall Street, MoveOn.org, all before Trump. The what do we want dead cops, when do we want them now chant, all before Trump. It's astonishing. Republicans plotting against their own frontrunner. If the establishment had exercised this kind of energy to get evangelical votes to Romney in 2012, he might even have won. But then again, it wasn't that important, because either way, either party, the establishment wins. Their jobs, their offices, their lifestyles intact as they continue on their treadmill of D.C. money and power. The party elders are petrified of Trump. The man is beholden to no one. He wins and it's game over for the elite. With Hillary, the game goes on. Heads up, Washington. We're not listening to you anymore because we're fed up. You haven't fixed a damn thing. And we can't take it anymore. The lies, the corruption, the debt, the taxes, the invasion, the freebies, the lack of accountability, sanctuary cities, religions forced to violate their own faith by providing birth control and abortifacts at the altar of Obamacare. And you're saying one thing and doing another constantly. The patronage games and the free ride on our backs are over. You're just not listening. For us, it's not just an election. It's a selection of Supreme Court justices and the direction our country takes for generations. We don't want anything more than what our founding fathers intended. The slippery slope into socialism does not work for us. We want an America where law enforcement, the military, and our allies are not the enemy. Boys, your arrogance is astonishing. And your condescension and scorn for the will of the American people is both mind-boggling and reminiscent of another time in our history. You know, from the beginning, we knew this would be a political revolution. Be careful, boys. Be very, very careful. You don't want to make this a different kind of revolution.
Now, as Dave was saying that, to be fair, the judge is part of the media establishment. Yes, she is. She works for Fox News and she reports. That doesn't diminish what she had to say. It doesn't diminish what she had to say was the truth. At least I agree as the truth. I'm getting tired of, you know, a lot of these people, and it's all sides, they're parroting bullshit lines. And blaming Trump for all these problems, to me, it just makes you look weak. But with that, it's a happy time. Time for a break. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with your host, Jersey Joe. And you're listening on shrmedia.com and High Plains Pundit Radio. Be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying capitalist, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the ReaverCommonSense.com. While you're there on Reaver Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, of course, Jersey Joe. Trying to make sense out of the senseless, and it is not an easy task. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch the broadcast, go to Reaver.1. Click on the live stream. If you want to support the show, or if you want to support SHR Media, go to Reaver.1 and click on the Reaver store. Snatch up a t-shirt or two, a hoodie. Coffee mugs are great. But the best are the Reaver jerseys and SHR Media jerseys. There's a lot of choices. Get there while they're still there. Well, they'll still be there even afterwards. But so, someone thought it would be funny, and Donald Trump tombstone appears in Central Park as online threats continue. A tombstone for Donald Trump mysteriously appeared in Central Park this weekend, just 1 week after over 1,000 avowed communist, socialist, Bernie Sanders fans and pro-illegal immigration activists took part in an anti-Trump protest in Central Park. It's kind of funny because they also were in front of his Trump towers, and they had signs, "Build love, not walls," as they built a wall in front of his towers. Hopefully people can see the the laughter in that they don't want to build walls, but they built a wall in front of his business. The Gothamist posted a tweet showing the tombstone, which reads, "Made America Hate Again." As Breitbart News has reported, while the media and even other Republicans has chastised Trump for violence, in fact, the calls for Trump's death have gone unpunished on social media sites like Twitter. The following tweets are a sample from just 24 hours. "I think I'm going to assassinate Donald Trump," one person put up on March 27th. "I'm going to hire someone on the deep web to assassinate Donald Trump." Was another one, again on the 27th. Had 10 likes, and "I will assassinate Trump." Someone responded. These are people that are making these threats, and there was a gentleman, a young kid, arrested this weekend in Georgia for making these threats. This is not something that is acceptable. And what's funny is these leftists that are making these threats are the ones that chastise the right for all the violence in the world. They blame all the violence, but they're the ones making the threats anymore. And they try to justify because they don't like the man, so they're going to threaten the man's life. It's not that smart. And meanwhile, an Assassinate Donald Trump page has been reposted on Facebook. The page creator said that they don't personally plan to kill Trump, but they believe it should be done. Now, Assassinate Donald Trump has finally been taken down, that page. It took a while, and a lot of people reporting it, and Facebook had said that it did not break any rules of Facebook. They finally took it down underneath a lot of pressure, and there was some media over the weekend on it. The statement was made, "I find it important to say for my own protection that I have no intention or interest in assassinating a presidential candidate. Rather, I think it's something that should be done, and I think pages need to exist again since the Republicans wind it down." But Dave, and I agree 100% your comment that the game the left plays hurt people and accuse others of being violent. What do you think's being done to Trump? He's being accused of all this violence, and he hasn't been the one doing the violence. And some of his comments, he would like to punch him in the nose, or, there's the one where he told people to fight back. Well, there was reports people were in the crowd with certain items on them. They were going to throw them at Trump. And if you listen to the full comment, not just the little media snippet that people only listen to, the whole comment was, if someone is hitting you with these things, you have the right to defend yourself and your right to hit back. And that's when he said that he would pay the legal fees if someone defended themselves from being attacked. But now the media is jumping on it that Trump is inciting violence. No, he isn't. There has been many, many testimony, people saying that they were welcome. There was a black gentleman who went to the Trump rally. He was not a supporter, but he wanted to hear what Trump had to say, not what the media wanted to say about Trump. He said he was very welcomed by Trump supporters. They understood that he was neutral, but he wanted to come and listen for himself. He said the only ones that made him feel unsafe were when the protesters came in and started acting up. At the beginning of all of these rallies, there is an announcement that Donald Trump does not condone any violence at these rallies. He does not want to see any violence happen and to let the police handle all matters. But yet, the media forgets to go over that part. And they have a tendency to push the other narrative. See, that's what I'm kind of taken aback by. It's not even just the left is playing this game. The right is playing the same game and attacking Trump the same way that Democrats do. And there's many Republicans that are buying into it because the Republicans are saying it. No. It's the exact same game. And no matter who wins the nomination, the Democrats are going to continue to play that game. And they're going to up the ante on playing that game. And it doesn't help when your own party plays that game. That just gives more ammunition to the opposing party. And as I was playing that clip, and I agree with, our establishment, the ones that are elected or the ones behind the scenes, and everybody knows who we mean by when we say establishment. There's people behind the scenes that may not be the candidates out or the elected officials, but they're the high-ranking people that pay a lot of money into the Republican Party that are pulling the strings. Those people do not care who gets elected because they still make their money. And I find it very sickening, and I said at the beginning of the show, any person that would rather see Hillary Clinton win, it sickens me, and that angers me, because we have 4 dead Americans because of her, because she turned her back, and there's people willing to turn their back to let her become president because they want to throw a hissy fit because they don't like who the people are picking. We have gone along with what you wanted for a long time. We have gone along with who the establishment has picked. Whether we liked them or not, we have gone along with it. And now the establishment wants to throw a hissy fit because we've said we've had enough. We've had enough of the bullshit. And that goes for whether you're a Cruz or Trump supporter. Both of us. That's what I don't understand. We're both on the same page, but yet we're attacking each other. We both have the same feelings. I don't think Trump, no, I see it as, in my opinion, Kel, is he was defending his wife. And no matter what, Cruz, those candidates know what's going on. They know everything that's going on. They're not as dumb and have this, I didn't know what was going on. Everybody understands that. He knew those photos were going out. And he could have actually been a hero. Cruz could have been a hero, and I talked about it earlier in the show. He could have been a hero and came out that night, that Tuesday night, and said, I do not condone this. I think this is disgusting. And I don't want to see anybody do it again. And he could immediately that night shot it down, and he would have been a hero for it. But no, he sat back and allowed it to go its course. Of course, Trump's going to respond. I would have responded, except my response would have been jumping on a plane, flying to where Cruz was, and, knocking his teeth down his throat. No, that's not a threat towards him. I'm saying in a hypothetical situation, if I was Trump, I would have knocked his teeth down his throat. But with that, I want to reiterate for some people, that is not a threat towards Cruz. As I said, that's a hypothetical situation. And with that, it is the end of my show, and I want to thank Dave, the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and Kel for being in the chat room. I always enjoy you guys in there. Everybody have a good day. Yeah, but Dave, he said it several days later. Several days later, he said it was disgusting. That's the difference between... Yeah, he knew. Dave, come on. They know what's going on in their campaigns. They know what these PACs are doing. Nothing is done without them knowing. So, with that, I bid everybody a good day. And I agreed, I'm sick of the whole mess too, Dave. It is sickening. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.